So today we will cook potato borani or borani potato, and it's actually a Turkish dish. It is not completely Turkish dish, though. It is a regional dish in the Middle East, and it is generally served as a side. But I mean, because it is potato, you can also serve it as a main dish because it is, it makes you full enough, and it is, it looks like a main dish actually. You will see when we finish. Before starting introducing myself, do you have any difficulty or do you have any technical issue hearing me, seeing me? Everything is okay? You can say, you can type or you can give me a sign. Okay, cool. So let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Atacan. I am from Turkey. And my last name is Atakan, so they are very close to each other, actually, my first name and my last name. Atacan, Atakan. I am from Turkey, from Ankara, and Ankara is the capital city of Turkey. I have been here, I have been living in Tucson for 6 years. I'm a PhD student at the University of Arizona, and my school is, or my department is the School of Middle Eastern and North African Studies. My thesis or dissertation is focusing on the history of childhood during the 19th century and early 20th century. In other words, during the Ottoman Empire, the late Ottoman Empire, or towards the end of the imperial rule in the region. So I am planning to research on history of childhood during that time period, and how the empire shape their bodies and shape their gender identities to create ideal generations and to create loyal generations, actually. Or we will see if the empire was successful or if it failed. We will see after I finish my thesis or dissertation. Besides that, I love cooking, as you can understand. I love reading detective novels. Agatha Christie is my favorite author, actually, in this aspect. I like traveling. I like watching sci-fi movies and horror movies. And of course, I like hanging out with my friends. So, if you want, let's start our food. It doesn't take too much time, actually. Once you boil the potatoes, I mean, 50% of the food is ready. So let me show you the ingredients. So potato, they are boiled. We have onion, and then we have, so these two are the basic ingredients of the food. We will prepare two sauces for this food. One of them will be with yogurt and garlic, and the other one will be tomato paste. And if you have, you can also use pepper paste. And of course, we have here spices and salt, of course, and oil. So it's not too difficult, and it doesn't take too much time, and it is very delicious actually. And if you like, you know, French fries, if you like potato salads, if you like anything with potato, you will really like this food. So let's start with our potatoes. So I want you to, if you have a masher, you can mash these potatoes, okay? Or I generally use the grater. So if you have a grater, just grate the potatoes. And then we will move on another thing when we finish. So throughout my demonstration, I'm planning to show two videos. They are about, one of them is about Turkish breakfast. I don't know if you have ever been to Turkey, if you have ever been to any Turkish restaurant or Middle Eastern restaurant. I mean, there are some Middle Eastern restaurants in Tucson, and this year, I think it was in August 2019, a Turkish restaurant opened. It is on Speedway, and its name is Istanbul. If you want, you can go and, you know, of course, when this COVID or when this this period is over, you can go and have a meal there. And also, as I know, they are, of course, you can just go and take away from these restaurants. Yeah, or if you ever heard about them. But the most important part for this, you know, Turkish food tradition is breakfast, especially breakfast made or had during the weekends, and particularly on Sunday. And you will see that you will see in the video that there are you know, a lot of I mean, different varieties of cheese, olives, jams, and, you know, pastries, and besides the diversity and besides the richness of these, you know, of the table, breakfasts, Sunday breakfasts last long actually. So it is generally it's a family breakfast. All family members come together, and you know, based on the family family rules or routine, but generally people prefer to wake up late on Sunday. Therefore, Turkish breakfasts are like, you know, brunch. So they are late. They are kind of late. And yeah, they come together and they have their breakfasts. And while they are having breakfast, they have, you know, make conversation, of course, and also I mean, I can give example from my family. So we generally, you know, talk about our plans for the following week, and if we need anything, you know, like maybe if we need anything for school or for other things, we let our moms and dads know about that. And also, if we will do something after breakfast, I mean during the within the day, we schedule, not schedule, but we plan how to do this, you know, how to yeah, how to do, or how to go the place we want to, or how to do this, you know, plan we want to do. So it is, you know, usual conversations, plans, and generally it is highly likely that you can have guests, like, you know, it can be your friends, it can be your relatives or your neighbors. So it is not only for your family. Hospitality is also an important part of this breakfast, actually. So, by the way, I washed my hands before I start cooking. I mean, before I start broadcasting. Of course, however, how you feel comfortable, you can use gloves, or you can use your hands as long as you wash your hands. In Turkish, we have this saying. I don't know if there's something similar in American, culture or food culture. We have saying that, and my mom, my grandmother, and my aunts, my uncles, they don't prefer to use gloves because they believe that the taste of their hands should be transmitted to the food. So I mean, by wearing gloves, you just you don't have this connection with the not connection, but maybe you don't transmit your let's say your inspiration, your willingness, maybe your love, your energy to the food. So we have generally say that hand taste of your hands, and we try to not try to, but generally people believe that there are some people whose hands are special because there are many people who cook the same food, but those people's the food cooked by those people are really delicious generally, and people believe that the reason is their taste of their hands actually. So that's the reason why I did not want to use gloves, but my hands are clean already. So if actually I forget if I wrote 2 potatoes or 3 potatoes, but doesn't matter. 2 potatoes are enough. If you have 3, you can spare the third one. No, and if we need, we can grate or mash the third one if you have. But I think, yeah, 2 potatoes are enough. So let me wash my hands. Okay. So I do this here. Did everyone finish mashing or grating potatoes? Okay. Emily said yes. Let me know when you finish your work with potatoes. So by the way, how is your school and how is your class going? I hope you are all doing well and you are all adapted actually to the new system, like online learning system, because it was kind of rapid and instant. I am also teaching a class at the university, and I am teaching Introduction to Political Islam. And some of my students actually had some difficulty at the beginning because of this transition. But in time they got used to using and studying actually through using this online learning system. And I hope you are doing well and your classes are going good so far. Did anyone else finish mashing potatoes or grating besides Emily? Did I pronounce it correct, Emily, or okay? We have one more. Yep. I'm waiting for better than most people. Okay, I need three more. Yeps. But maybe I can wait 2 more minutes and I can move on to the next step. Carlos said yes. We have Nicole and Sarah to go. So the next step is onion. If you did not peel the onion, peel its the the crust or yeah, and peel these the other part of the onion. Just peel it and be sure that you have these white, or if you have this gold onion, red onion, but I'm white. I think I said I wrote that in the list. White, yellow onion. Just be sure you have this because we will dice this onion to saute it, and then after that, after we finish stirring or frying the onion, we will mix it with the potato. So if you want, we can start slowly. So is there anyone else who will dice onion for the first time? Let me know. So the thing you need to do is that just slice this onion into two parts, into half. Okay, so this is the two half. It's not actually the half exact measure. And then be sure that you also cut this part off. And we have this half, and also be sure to this part off as well, and you can trash them actually. So we have these two parts of onion. Actually, I love cooking, but the only thing that I don't like while I'm cooking is dicing onion, because of course its effect, it's very emotional effect, and also I don't know, maybe I could not get used to dicing it, or I could not have this peaceful connection with the onion, but because I don't like actually dicing onion, I generally use this tool. It's a very time-saving, life-saving tool, and it's not you don't need electricity. It's just a just very simple basic tool. So I will dice half of this onion by my hand, and for the half I will use this tool just to show you, if you don't know, I will, I will use this half and dice it by hand or by knife. So you need to slice these half into 3 or 4 vertical slices. Okay. So we have, I have 4 vertical slices, and then, turn it like this. So because at the beginning it was like this, 4 vertical slices, turn it, and then you can dice this onion finely. It doesn't have to be too small, but it could be better to not have a big pieces of onion within the potato. So try to make it, as small as possible. Therefore, another, no vertical slices, but the intervals between each intervals should be smaller, or should be less than the other one. The previous one. So. And if you think that they are not small enough, you can use your chopping or cutting board, and separately you can make them smaller actually. Or you can another way to chop these vegetables, or if you need to chop any vegetable or any herb finely, you can use this technique actually. Just put them here and then putting them together, and oops. I don't know if you already start crying, but I am. Okay. So for this part, for the first half, after you finish dicing the onions, you can put them into a frying pan. Okay, just okay, and then I have the other, so you can cutting the other half. And if you want, if you don't like onion, you can. The first half is also enough. You don't need to. You don't have to use the both half. But to keep these, potatoes and how can I say, to keep these potatoes firm, it could be better to use, the both half. But otherwise, if you are not a fan of onion, or if you don't like its taste, because I have some friends, they don't like onion, raw or cooked. Yeah, if you don't like, just use the first half, because we need something to keep these potatoes firm, and of course we need something to taste actually our food. And this tool is not only for onion, of course. It is if I make dessert and if I need walnut or almonds, this crushed almond and walnut. I use this tool. While I'm making tomato sauce, I just put my tomatoes. I cut them into half and put into my tool and just slice them. Hopefully, I will do that. Okay. And while I'm getting ready for this demonstration, I was trying to find the English translation of some sayings, not words, but sayings, because is uh, food is is a complete area, and it's a very important part of the culture, and it's a culture itself, and it's we have this food culture or food tradition, right? So uh, it is a big area actually. So because it is very important part of culture, and it is a particular area of interest and of for some people it's part of their livelihood actually. Each country, each culture, uh, or each community, let's say, have their specific or particular sayings, phrases, or idioms they are using while they are cooking, or they are using for specific foods, or they are using to depict or describe the, the cook himself or herself, or they are using these phrases to depict the food itself, the taste of the food, so on and so forth. And of course, in Turkish culinary, uh, Turkish cuisine and Turkish food culture has its own phrases, idioms. So one of them is that it is both saying, but and also it is practice. While we are cooking, we don't use generally these tablespoon or teaspoon measuring spoons, and the saying is that it is the eyeball estimation, but I think in English it is the rule of thumb. So it is just I mean, I have not seen my mom or my uncles, my cousins, my friends, while they are using, they are scaling, they are measuring these, the spices that they will include the food. They generally use, rule of thumb based on estimation, based on their, taste or palate, actually. That's the reason why I cannot, I did not actually give exact measurings of these spices, but I will try to let you know because I have these measuring spoons. But generally, yeah, if you want, you can also use this rule of thumb because you never know where you need to cook, and you may not have these measuring cups. So it could be good to get used to preparing something or cooking something based on your own estimation and based on your own taste. Okay, so if you finish dicing the onions, just put them into a frying pan and place your frying pan on medium heat. Let me show. So, oops. Okay. Okay. So medium heat. So my stove is or my burner actually is electrical. So I generally prefer to use the medium heat. And let me, okay, yes, I can do that. Like, actually, sorry about it. Yes, okay. Okay, and don't forget to put add some olive oil or vegetable oil is okay. Canola oil. I generally prefer to use canola oil if I'm going to use this different oil other than olive oil. Or you can mix them also. I mean, it doesn't have to be only olive oil or only canola oil or the other sunseed oil, sunseed flour. Okay. And again, I cannot give any exact. I don't want to actually give any exact amount for this for oil because maybe some of you are very careful, what they eat, or how much they eat, and they don't want to, eat this, oily or, oily food, or they don't want to use oil that much. But again, based on your rule of thumb, but in the recipes on the internet, they generally say that 4 tablespoons olive oil or 4 tablespoons what oil you have, canola oil or sunflower oil. So it's based, it's up to you. I don't know how cooking is conceived in your family and in your community, because I mean, in America there are different many different cultures, different communities, and each community and each group has their own unique culture, including food culture as well. And within this food culture, in some community, cooking is strictly based on gender roles. Like, women cooks, men eat, or in some culture, it doesn't matter if it is woman or man. So I don't know how this cooking actually is conceived in your culture community, gender based. Is there strict gender roles? It is like, in your family, for example, who cooks? Your father, your mother, or you? By the way, you can a little bit turn down the heat from medium to yeah, I mean, just turn down the heat, and you need to saute the onions till they become soft and light pink. So it is the another. I don't know if it is if this is part of the food or cooking narrative, but in Turkish cooking narrative, we generally say that saute or stir the onions till they become light pink, and then you can start adding the other ingredients. And my onions are looking pink enough, so I am adding the mashed or grated potato. So I am adding that, and I am mixing them together. So try to use. I don't know if you have these, wooden mixing spoon, but try to mash the potato again here while you are cooking. So be sure they start to stick to each other. And 3 minutes will be enough after you put the potatoes into the frying pan. 3 minutes, keep mixing them with each other, and then after 3 minutes you can turn off the burner. So yeah, I mean, I was talking about this cooking and its gender-based conception by some culture. And even in that culture, because each culture is not, is not a whole, a big whole, or how can I say? It's not a big, it's not singular. Actually, it is not, or we should not have a holistic approach to one culture, because within a singular culture there can be different practices, or the same tradition could be practiced in different ways, or same food could be cooked in different ways, or same holidays, like I mean, in my country, one of the Islamic holiday is approaching. Actually, is coming soon. Now, Muslim people are in the month of Ramadan, and Ramadan is a holy month for Muslim people. They are fasting for 1 month, from sunset, from dawn or sunrise to sunset, and after sunset, or with the sunset, they break their fast each day for 29 and sometimes 30 days. They do that. They fast 1 month each year, because it is one of the important practices for pillars of Islam. Actually, one of the pillars of Islam. So yeah, I mean, one of the Islamic holiday is coming, but people by region, by cities, by even neighborhood, sometimes there are different practices or different ways of celebrating the same holiday. Yeah, I mean, within this culture, there can be, different perceptions, or different approach to the same issue, like cooking. So in Turkey, it depends on the family, it depends on the person. I think in the past, maybe it was more in family life. I'm talking about in family life. It was mostly seen as a duty of women, and like cooking and setting tables, and then of course washing dishes. So there was this kind of traditional gender role, or traditional gender role perception. But maybe last 20 days, 30, last 20 years or 30 years, it changed. Why? Because there were these migrations from cities to from rural areas to urban areas, and from Turkey to different countries, and people started to cook to make themselves full. And they had to cook actually. So while they are at home, they were at home. Foods were cooked by their moms, right? But now, let's say they are students, they need to go to the university in different city than their hometowns. To survive, they need to eat something, and if they don't have enough money to eat outside every day, they have to cook. They have to learn how to cook actually. So this is one of the reasons why this gender-based or gendered perception of cooking changed in Turkey. And the other one is there was these role models in televisions, like popular and famous chefs and cooks, and they were popular, and also they were liked by people, and they were really people were fan of them actually, and these cooks were mostly men. And of course, these people let the audiences to change their views. But I mean, for example, in my family, it was never, it was never, based on this, gender difference. I mean, in our family, my mom cooked, because if my dad cooks, I think we cannot use our house for maybe for 1 week. We need to clean it first. If he did not burn the apartment yet, and but my uncle, my oldest uncle actually, he's my role model. And while I was a kid, I was watching him while he was cooking. Yeah, he was my role model, and he's the one who cook all the time at home. So as I told, there's this, yes, gender-based or gendered understanding of cooking, but it changed. I mean, it depends on where you are, in which community, which culture, so on and so forth. So from frying pan, you can, put your mixture of potato and onion back to these, back to your plastic bowls or, glass bowls, because it is hot, and we will make them, we will roll them soon. You can put these balls into the fridge. Okay. And we will prepare our sauce, and it won't take too long, because they are very easy to make. So let's start with or let me show you this video, one of the videos I am planning to show. While you are watching this video, you can also finalize this, stirring the potato and onion, and taking them into the fridge. And after the video, we will start watching. We will start watching. Sorry, we will start preparing the sauce. Okay. As I told you before showing the video, so he was also one of the famous chefs. Generally, people see him in TV shows, TV programs, and of course he becomes a role model for some of the audiences, and especially for for boys and for men. As I also told at the beginning, as you watched from the video, Turkish breakfast is, and Sunday breakfast also, I mean, especially, is a very important part of Turkish food culture. By the way, I am using this, Turkish and Turkish, but it is actually, it is not, it's not unique to Turkish. So this Turkish food culture, or I don't know which adjective, or which what we can use instead. But Turkish food culture is is a sum of different food cultures, like food cultures of Arab community, or Arabs, Armenians, Greek community, these Circassian people, Caucasian people, Assyrian people, and of course it is not, this Turkish food culture was not a result of, was not constituted in the 20th century. It's a sum of, or accumulation of these, centuries-long cooking culture, or cooking knowledge, coming from these, ancient civilizations, from these, medieval Islamic caliphates, sultanates, and then the Ottoman Empire. So it is actually a sum of different cultures, different communities, food culture, and different time periods. Let's start our preparing our sauce. For our yogurt sauce, we will use 2 cloves of garlic, and 4 tablespoons. Actually, for Turkish measuring culture, tablespoon, we generally don't use this. I didn't see these measuring spoons actually. They are now popular because of IKEA, and of course because of globalization. But normally people use these, tablespoon and teaspoon, as we know, instead of these, specific measuring cups. So 4 tablespoon yogurt, or Again, the rule of thumb, it could be 3, but 4 will be good, I think. Okay. And so to crash, okay, or mash the garlic. I want you to cut these upper and lower parts, or these two ends of the clothes, because just a very small piece. Just cut them off. And if you want, you can use your chopping board to smash them. Let's make it. Okay, I think so. And find a big knife to smash. So let me do this. Let me do one of them in this way. Just you need to smash them. That's it. Or if you have this small grater, you can grate the garlic into the yogurt directly. And let me do this in that way. And if you like garlic, you can add one more clove to this sauce. If you don't like, you can only include one clove, or you don't have to use garlic if you don't like garlic, or if you are going to have school, or if you are going to have a date, so on and so forth. I mean, and if you don't want to eat something with garlic, of course you don't have to include garlic into the sauce. Okay, and let me finish the other part. So after you smash this garlic, as we did before, try to mince it actually. So you can use not this big one, but maybe this one to mince. And after you finish mincing finely, you can add these parts into our own yogurt. And so we have yogurt, we have smashed, pressed garlic. We just need some water to make it, to make its thickness, to adjust its thickness actually. And for 4 tablespoon yogurt, I think one is big actually. So 1 glass of water will be enough. And of course, you can always change, or you can always adjust the thickness based on your taste. If you like, this more fluid and less thick sauce, you can add more water. And actually, I generally use, I used to use water to make this yogurt sauce, but you can also use maybe a half glass of water and half a glass of milk. So you can also use milk to adjust the thickness, and then you will just mix it and be sure to crash the yogurt and try to make it liquid fluid actually. Okay, so this is number one, and I'm putting it. If you want, if you are going to use it, let's say maybe 1 hour, after 1 hour or 2 hours or more, you can put them into the fridge. But we will use it very soon, and therefore I'm putting it here. Now we will prepare our second sauce. It is actually a tomato sauce, but we will make this sauce with tomato paste. Of course, if you want, you can always try new things. Instead of using tomato paste or pepper paste, you can grate tomato, maybe one or two, and you can make your own real organic tomato sauce. But I generally like the using tomato paste and pepper paste to prepare this sauce for borani and for Turkish ravioli. It is my favorite Turkish food actually. Turkish ravioli and is my favorite and number one food actually. So we will use. You can use small frying pan if you want, or saucepan, so small saucepan, and then we will start by placing it on again medium heat. Okay, and then you can use again olive oil or canola oil, which oil you have, you can use it. Okay, let me show like this. Okay, so for this one as well, you can use oops, you can use 4 tablespoon sorry 2 tablespoon this time, 2 tablespoon canola oil, olive oil, and if it is if you think that it is not enough, you can add 1 more tablespoon. Okay, so medium heat. I added canola oil, and I have this pepper paste. If you don't have, you don't have to use actually, but it gives a good taste actually. It's a pepper paste, and it is mild pepper paste, so it's mildly hot. I use 1 teaspoon actually, but I think for this measuring thing, it is 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon pepper paste, and so it will be 2 tablespoon to this spoon tomato paste, or let's make it 2.5. Okay, 2.5. Okay. Okay, so if you want, you can turn down the heat a little bit, just to be sure to not burn the tomato paste and pepper paste. So I am mixing them together and, you know, just mashing them while I'm mixing, like, you know, like this. And let me show this part. So, okay. So if you want, you can add, or you can put spice like black pepper or red pepper, but we will use black pepper, red pepper in our potato and onion, let's say potato and onion dough. So I don't want to use extra spice here, but if you want, to your yogurt sauce and to your tomato sauce, you can add a little bit salt, and it should be a quarter teaspoon, this teaspoon, because I mean a quarter teaspoon for tomato sauce, quarter teaspoon for yogurt sauce, and quarter or half teaspoon for potato dough. And when you start, you know, smelling the when you start getting the smell of these, you know, tomato paste and pepper paste, you can stir, or you can, you know, continue to mix 1 more minute, and then you can turn off the burner. Okay. I mean, for me, the marker is that I understand it's done. I mean, it's cooked. Is the smell. So we can see that, you know, in food culture, we have to use, and we need to use, you know, almost, I think almost all our, what is it, senses, right? So to say something, to say or to depict actually a food is delicious, we should both, of course, taste and also smell, because I don't know if you have the same thing or not, but if I don't like the smell of the food, it is hard for me to eat it. I have, for example, when I was a kid, I did not eat cauliflower, because when my mom steamed this cauliflower, its smell was kind of intense, and I mean, I did not like its smell during that time. But then I consumed the cauliflower, not in the same way my mom cooked, but in different ways, like because she was just boiling and steaming, and, you know, preparing a sauce and eat it in that way. But I eat cauliflower quiche. I mean, the quiche, you know, cauliflower, and it was very delicious. So I started to consume it in that way. One more thing. So if you want, and actually it could be better. So we can add a little bit, maybe, you know, just quarter of this, you know, glass a little bit of water into our tomato sauce to make it less thick. Okay, just a little bit, not too much, please. And then you can mix them again. And again, it's up to you if you want to taste and if you want to sense this tomato paste in your mouth in a more intense way. You don't have to include water, but if you want to, if you don't want to, if you don't want any taste to stay to remain in your mouth, you can put a little bit, water so they can, just come and go. Because sometimes, if some ingredients is too much, their taste is actually stay for a while in our mouth, like like garlic or like curry, like cumin, like onion. So you can take your potato and okay. So I just saw your what you wrote actually. So my sauce is like this. Let me use spoon, another spoon. So I mean, it's not it's not too liquid. It is not too what is it, too thick. As I told you, you can adjust the thickness based on your own own taste, your your eye taste and mouth taste. But I don't like too liquid, too thin sauce. That's the reason why I try to make it a little bit thick. But as you want, I mean, if you want, you can put a little bit of water, maybe more water, and it will be okay. So we will leave it here. Let's tidy up the kitchen very quickly. And you can take out your potato and onion and dough. Okay. Yogurt here. Okay. Okay. And with potato and onion dough, you can bring these, these spices on the kitchen top. So we are going to spice our food. Of course, we will use salt. I'm going to use red pepper or chili pepper. Actually, I brought it from Turkey. And black pepper. Actually, the most favorite spice of mine is cumin that I like to use potato. Whenever you cook something, I mean, except fries, French fries, if you are going to make potato salad, or if you are going to make it this, or different potato salads or tapas, yeah, I mean, use cumin because it is very. They are very good. Potato and cumin is a good match actually. But it is because it's an intense intense spice, you can use it. I mean, maybe the smallest measuring spoon, and of course I will use rule of thumb actually. Okay, so and based on your, if you like, if you like chili or hot foods, you can add more black pepper and chili pepper. If you don't, you don't have to add, or you can add very small amount. But I mean, I recommend you to use either these, the smallest teaspoon or this one. I mean, the two smallest teaspoon, one of the two smallest teaspoon, based on your taste. And then chili pepper or red pepper. And salt, it's all, again, it's totally up to you. If you don't consume salt, though our body needs salt as a mineral, but of course we should be careful about the amount, otherwise our kidneys can be harmed. I mean, we can harm our kidneys, and they are, as doctor says, kidneys are as important as, or as in terms of function, as important as heart. And of course, all of our organs are important. So we will use our hands at the end because we need to make, balls, potato balls. So if you want, you can mix these spices by using your hands, or by using a spoon. I will use my hand again to mix these spices. And it will be sticky, and you will have this potato in your hands after you finish mixing. Don't afraid, it's not, it doesn't mean something wrong. I mean, if you are not able to roll it and make it a potato ball, then you can either grate or mash one more potato, or you can include flour. Doesn't matter. I mean, it could be unbleached, bleached, wheat, whatever, flour, just to make it, kind of firm, and to decrease decrease this, the sticky form of it. Okay. So if you finish mixing it, I will wash my hands. And in your list, I wanted you to have a platter, right? To serve our food. So take this platter as well. I'm going to use this one. If you have, if you are going to use bowl, in one of the videos, I saw that they are, making these potato balls smaller than the usual, and they are putting it into these, small balls, and they serve these small balls. I mean, they put these balls in front of the plate of each guest. Or if you want to put your borani in the middle of your table, you can use this platter. Okay. So are you ready to do the last part of our borani? By the way, borani actually does not use for potato. It is used for spinach. I mean, it's used. This name is used for those foods which include spinach, parsley as a main ingredients. But I don't know. I mean, I did some research, but I couldn't find why they, use borani for potato. I couldn't find. But borani is generally anything. It could be spinach, it could be parsley, yeah, but mostly spinach, yes. You mix it with onion, like we did, and you decorate it with yogurt sauce or different spices or different other herbs, and you serve it as you can serve it either as cold or by warming it up. But I prefer to serve it cold. No, not too cold, of course, but I mean, just as cool as enough, let's say. So, are you ready, or do you want me to wait a little bit more? Ready, okay. So, again, if you want to make big potato ball, you can get a big piece, or just a small piece. It's up to you. Just get maybe this amount of just you can use your hands as a spoon, and get a piece of this mix, potato and spices and onion mix, and then you can squeeze it like this, and then you can roll it around it, and that's it. And you will just put it in your platter, okay? And you will sequence them, order them actually. How is your dough, this potato and onion dough? Is it sticky? Is it okay? And you are able to make your potato balls? Let me know if you have any, difficulty or if you have any question. I saw your questions and I will answer them at the end. I didn't check, but I saw there are 5 of them, I think, here. I will answer the questions at the end, no worries. One more trick for you. It is any type of mashed potato food, actually. And if you are going to shape this mashed potato, like by rounding it or by whatever, and if it's getting stickier, and if you cannot, if you have difficulty to shape it, you can just put some water. I mean, let me take this and just have a bowl of water, and before starting, just touch this water and put here, and then you put the potato here, so it won't stick. It won't actually be sticky. You don't have this, reminiscence on your hand or in your hand. So while we are doing this, I mean, this stage, the last phase, not last phase, but let's say making potato ball phase, you may think about, the people who will eat your food, and you can imagine them, they are smiling because they really like your food, and that makes you happy. So if you think these kind of things, you will transmit these, these positive thoughts, positive vibes to your food as well, and it may influence its taste, like talking to flowers, talking to plants. They can react, right, by blossoming. Actually, they react to your kind words, your conversation, not conversation, of course, but your monologue or your lovely words to them. So they blossom, they flower, and maybe the same thing could be valid for our relation with with the recipe or with the food, and which are with our thoughts between the food and our thoughts. So you can wash your hands because we are not going to mix something, or we are not going to use our hands to make dough or to do something else actually. Before starting pouring the sauce, yogurt sauce and the tomato sauce on them, we have one more thing. I think yes, it was also in your list. And if you don't have to, but if you have parsley, just pick some, maybe just what is it? Maybe just one handful, full of your hand. Parsley leaves. Just pick them off of the bunch, and then if they are clean, you don't have to wash. But if you don't think so, just wash these leaves. And then we will mince these parsley leaves. To show you this parsley. Okay. So how is your potato ball production going? Are you done? Are you almost done? Are you having a problem, like sticky dough or any other issues? Cool. Okay. What about Carlos and Sarah? Are you doing? Are you still doing, or are you still making these balls, or are you done? Where is my mouse? Okay. So it's good. You can keep going. Okay. By the way, we can see done. We can see what yours looks like now. It's really breaking up. I can't hear the video too well. Okay, so Sarah, your question. So we will pour. Dipping could be difficult actually, because it is not firm enough that you can hold by your hand or through a fork. So we will just pour these our sauce on these potato balls. So if you have parsley, just bring these leaves together, okay, like this, and mince them very, just. At the end, we will put them on our sauce. If you don't have parsley, just you can always be creative. You can be always innovative. I mean, you can use dried mint. I mean, what is that? So this, dried mint. Or you can use fresh mint leaves, and you can cut them, or you can just put fresh mint leaves at the top of each bowl. You can use basil if you want, basil leaves. You can use maybe thyme, whatever, which herbs you want to use. You can, put, at the top of your bowls, or I mean, you don't have to, add any other taste, because sometimes people don't like mixing, taste, or mixing different products, like, they don't like mixing, sweet and sour, or even different taste. So it's understandable, because each person's taste is, himself or herself. So no intervention, no interruption. It is good. Okay. So we means our parsley here, and we have our sauce, yogurt sauce and tomato sauce, and we have our vegetables. Just give me. I should charge my laptop. To charge my phone is there. Okay, we are good to go. So the last thing is, and the last thing will be just decorating, decorating of our potato balls. Okay. Again, it's up to you. We have this. You will start with yogurt sauce. Okay, and you can before start pouring your sauce. Just just mix them one more time and be sure that everything is okay. And okay, so we will. Even you can find, you can try these potato balls with different sauce, right? And you can, instead of yogurt sauce, maybe you can try different. You can make, a different sauce and try it with that. I generally, I think I did not have any, recipe that or any, food or dish that I invent, or that I cooked from scratch, from without any recipe. I generally want to find a recipe and, make cook this food first, as written in the recipe, and then I start, changing the ingredients, or experimenting new things, like, new sauce, new spices, and maybe new vegetable or fruit if it is dessert or so. So I mean, don't afraid of trying new things. Okay, so I'm done with the yogurt sauce. And now it is time for our tomato sauce. Because it is, mine is thick, so you can just, put a little bit, tomato paste on each of them. Or you can, make it more fluid, more liquid, and you can just do the same thing as we did with yogurt. We are almost done. More. Okay. Okay, if you want, you can. I generally like to do that. If you are not going to use it again, you can now clean the spoon. And of course, I'm using parsley. As I told you, you can use different herbs, different spices. So maybe to make one more touch, one more, decorative touch. And also you can use dill if you want. Mm-hmm. Okay. So mine is ready to be served, or ready to serve actually. So I think, and my dinner is ready also. So let me know. Let me know. Are you done? Are you still decorating? And while we are, while you are doing, this decoration, I have one more 4 minutes video, and then let's watch that, and then we will finish our meeting actually. And it is in this video. The producer of this, the producer of this video actually going to Istanbul, and she shows different Turkish food and different and peculiar and particular Turkish food, let's say. Okay, so I am back. We are back. I hope you liked the video. So I have one more thing to tell you about the Turkish food culture. So as you saw in the video, she was drinking Turkish coffee, and Turkish coffee is also a kind of indispensable part of this food culture, Turkish food culture. Generally, they use copper, containers or cups to make Turkish coffee, and this is Turkish coffee actually. So let me show. So I like its smell, and it's a kind of what is it, intense actually. If you want to, and I generally drink Turkish coffee. I try to drink every day because it's said that it is good for the for for your nerves and for your heart health. Uh, but especially during my finals, and just to keep myself a little bit awake, not the all night, of course, but just a little bit awake. This is good for you to keep awake in a reasonable um, time, in a reasonable length actually. And then after you cook, after you make the Turkish coffee within this pot, we have these cups. I mean, of course, each cup has different shapes, different designs, and pour it into these, small cups. You, drink it. And there's another thing actually about this, Turkish coffee. So there are, some people, and it's not a, for some of them it could be, talent, it could be maybe 6 cents, whatever you know, call it. But it is general for, for just to have fun, to have joy together actually with your friends, with your family or relatives. After you finish your Turkish coffee, there's this what is it? Reminiscence of this the Turkish coffee, the intense part or thick part of this coffee stays actually at the bottom part of this cup. You close this plate on it. You round it for 3 times, and then you upside it down, and you will wait. And you need to wait till this part cools down. After it cools down, your friends or your relative, or it could be a person who professionally does that. So the other person actually open your cups, and based on the shapes, actually these reminiscence constituted or formed. So based on these shapes, based on the figures or images, that person read your cup. Actually, it was in the past. It was just part of these, private meetings, private gatherings, your friends, parties, so on and so forth. But now it became a kind of sector actually. So there are these coffee shops opened in Turkey. You can drink Turkish coffee for free, but if you want to that, let's say, I mean, fortune teller, or the person to read your cup, you need to pay for that person. Actually, you need to pay for this reading, and it is, there are many people earning money for that, and there are many people who really believe and frequently find someone to read their cups. And one of our professors, actually, old professors at U of A, she wrote her dissertation on these, on reading cup, and those who read the cups actually, about them, and about the reading topic. So I hope you enjoyed making this potato borani, and I hope you will like it. And your family will like it. If if you find it difficult, you can do it one more time. You know the recipe. Let me know. I can send you the recipe, or maybe I think our meeting is recorded, so you can ask for this recording and check. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you will have a great rest of the week and weekend. And good luck on your exams. Good luck with the semester. See you. Have a great day. Sorry. Your question. Let me check if you have a question. Okay. So there is no. Can we see what? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there is no question. Then we can finish our session then. And have a great day. Bye bye.